Welcome to the audiobook experience, brought to you through Greg Stein Publications.
Our world has truly been shaped uniquely over the past 10 million years. A series of bizarre occurrences and ludicrous chance happenings have brought about a new era of Montrevian life form. I'm Professor Montre Dawkins. I welcome you to join me on this epic journey of discovery as I trail into the depths of the Monch Evolution, our very own evolution. Our journey begins over 10 billion years ago. It was said that no other Gregorian has ever reached the stage of eternal fulfillment, but the best attempt so far was the fallen Montrevian Bell Monch. It nearly reached eternal fulfillment, but its inability to rid itself of all worldly things failed after it had kept a handbag of makeup, resulting in eternal damnation to drift in space inside the ever-full mind clay. Now, you must understand that Bell Monch was in fact a Gregorian, but you see, the very fact that he had been captured in this eternal stage of damnation had caused him a time of great stress. He was the first ever Montrevian. Bell Monch's spawn exploded with rage, and the genetic coding had become deformed and ruptured throughout the universe, with only parts of genetic data becoming apparent. The bulk of spawn had become lost in space, but some spawn had reached other worlds, where no longer were intact and were spirals of genetic coding. These would find vehicles such as humans, Gregorians, dogs, sheep, Modopharine, and they would attach themselves onto them. Most mutations of this Montrevious spawn would die out, as genetic data of the vehicles were not too similar to the Gregorian codes which Bell Monch had capsulated. Some, however, didn't manage to work. This was mainly due to exhibited in the Gregorian vehicles and Modopharine life forms. The spawn would grow spores in the skin of these vehicles, and the vehicles would normally die within 24 hours of mutation. The spores would carry on to grow and develop into Montrevious species in 6 different phases. As it carried out the evolutionary process, it gains more gregarious and Montrevious genetic coding and becomes more like the original Bell Monch. This would thus reaching the divine stage 6 Montrevian. Most Montrevians are in fact stage 5 or lower. There are in fact 2 classes of evolutionary process, the latter Monch classification and the gregarious Monch classification, LMC and GMC respectively. Here is the breakdown of the different phases of the Montrevious evolutionary process, starting from after the vehicle has been broken down into specific spores. We begin with the latter Monch classification. Phase 1. The spores would continue to grow and form small slimy buds, and after time, these would grow into small slug-like creatures. With time given, these begin to develop features of the Bell Monch skull formation, with an extended, protruding, and forked tongue, exhibiting a drooping face with no eyes, yet no pupils. It has an overall green, see-through complexation, riddled with imperfections and warts. Phase 2. The slugs carry on to develop their skeletal structure, and the formation of a brain occurs. Legs, arms, feet, and hands begin to grow, and the forked tongue begins to fuse and shorten. The pupil develop, and the skull lengthens. The eyebrow hairs start to appear, and a stretched, curved formation of skull begins to appear. The skin complexion in fact turns to clear up and becomes whiter, yet remains a tinge of green. Phase 3. From the small creature on 4 legs, the Montrevian begins to rise up and walk on 2 legs. This occurred over 3.5 million years ago. It is in fact a very skeletal structure and does not have much flesh otherwise. The facial features are closer to resembling the bell monch itself, and the outer layer of skin has become very thin and stretched and translucent. The complexion has become very white due to the layer of fat underneath becoming more visible due to the stretching of the skin. Some Montrevians stay in the state for eternity as they choose to embrace utter hedonism rather than seek a spiritual path. Many egregors have followed this path too. Many Montrevians in the state become slaves to the Gregorian masters and completely fall out of the Church of Gregory. Phase 4. If a Montrevian in the 3rd stage of his evolutionary chaos can embrace the Church of Gregory. If a Montrevian in the 3rd stage of his evolution does choose to become part of the people of Belmonch, then it has baptized into a pot of boiling water filled with Gregorian molecules. This act will scald and burn the outer layers of loose skin, and the layer of fat shall be exposed to the Gregorian molecules. This bonding process begins to create a new layer of fat. They will begin to activate the dormant Gregorian gene cells, and within hours the Montrevian will start to bloat and undergo a transformation to become the true Gregorian Monch that the Bell Monch was thoroughly. Phase 5. Once the Montrevian has completed its gregarious transformation, it will then become a member of the Montrevian sect within the Church of Gregory, and it will be trained to become a holy warrior priest. The following example is of Belmonch. It will strive for utter monsters and battle the forces of maternal evil and material evil around the world. This is the most beautiful of stages. As you see, the evolutionary process carries on, and they begin to adapt and continue to adapt and develop new life forms and new legs and new arms and new layers of fat. Phase 6. This is the final stage of the evolutionary process. Few reach this stage, as it is only achievable by Montrevians who have accomplished a great feat in their lives and have gone on to become saints in the eyes of Belmonch. These Montrevians of supreme value look far more superior to Phase 5 Montrevian eternal mortals. They are no longer capable of seeing the material world. They no longer have pupils, as they do not see into this world. Their eyes glow with divine glory, and they see into both this world and the other dimensions of the spirit world. They are capable of battling high-ranking Milidonians and demons twice the size of Milidonia. The Montrevians gain perfect complexion, as their bodies glow white with the light of glory and evolutionary bliss. They wear delicate clothing, and from other worlds brought to them as gifts from Belmonch itself. Their skulls take on the shape like no other, and they are able and capable of morphing shape. They are the prime evolutionary example. I'm Professor Montre Dawkins, and I hope you've enjoyed this short introductory documentary into the evolution of Monch.
We hope you have enjoyed this short documentary example. Please go on to purchase this for only $8.99. You can find this at any of your local bookstores or audio tape stores. Why not look into our other products? We also have documentaries by Montre Dawkins on topics such as the prime Milidonian life form and the selfish Montre gene, and also the Gregorian fat cell, the key to life.